The moon has captivated humanity for millennia, a symbol of mystery, inspiration, and scientific curiosity. It has guided ancient navigators, inspired poetry and religion, and served as the backdrop for one of humanity's greatest achievements, the Apollo 11 landing in 1969. But now, a new chapter is being written, one that raises profound ethical, legal, and economic questions. A billionaire entrepreneur, whose identity has sparked both fascination and controversy, has launched an ambitious campaign to claim and develop vast regions of the moon's surface. His goal? To establish the first private lunar settlement, supported by autonomous robots, 3D printing technology, and advanced space habitats. The plan includes mining for resources such as water ice, rare earth elements, and helium-3, a potential fuel for future fusion reactors that could revolutionize energy production on Earth. This private push to dominate the moon is not just a bold business venture, it challenges the very foundation of international space law. Under the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, the moon and other celestial bodies are considered the province of all mankind. No nation can claim sovereignty over the moon, and all activities must benefit humanity as a whole. However, the treaty does not clearly address the role of private companies or individuals. This legal ambiguity is now being tested like never before. Proponents argue that commercial investment is essential to advance space exploration. They claim that private innovation can achieve what governments alone cannot: sustainable off-Earth infrastructure and rapid technological development. From Elon Musk's Mars ambitions to Jeff Bezos's lunar landers, the new space race is being driven by billionaires with deep pockets and grand visions. This latest lunar claim represents the next frontier in space capitalism. Supporters also point to the potential economic benefits. A new space economy could generate trillions in revenue, create high-tech jobs, and stimulate breakthroughs in robotics, materials science, and life support systems. Private missions might accelerate timelines, reduce costs, and attract new talent to the space industry. But critics warn that allowing individuals to carve up the moon sets a dangerous precedent. They argue that space should not become another realm of inequality, monopolization, and exploitation. If one billionaire can claim a crater, what stops another from claiming an entire region? Could future wars be fought over lunar territories and resources? And what happens to international cooperation when the moon becomes a playground for the ultra-wealthy? Environmental concerns also loom large. The moon, though lifeless, is a pristine environment with scientific, cultural, and historical value. Aggressive development could erase geological records, impact seismic research, and disturb potential archaeological sites from past missions. Some suggest that parts of the moon should be designated as protected heritage sites, much like national parks on Earth. There are also risks of space pollution, debris accumulation, and long-term damage to lunar ecosystems that are still poorly understood. The ethical implications are just as complex. Should one person or company have the right to profit from what was once a symbol of shared human achievement? Does technological capability justify ownership? And who gets to decide the rules for living and working on the moon? The billionaire in question has proposed a lunar governance charter, drafted by his own legal team, outlining property rights, mining permissions, and settlement protocols. He claims it will foster transparency, accountability, and cooperation among lunar stakeholders. But critics argue this amounts to self-legislation, a privatized legal framework lacking democratic legitimacy and global input. International bodies like the United Nations have yet to respond formally, but pressure is mounting to revisit outdated treaties and create clearer regulations for private actors in space. Space lawyers and scholars have called for a lunar accord, a new international agreement that protects the Moon's status as a global commons while enabling responsible exploration and economic activity. Meanwhile, space agencies, environmentalists, and activists are urging governments to define boundaries between commercial freedom and public interest. Some envision a shared lunar commons, where resources are managed collectively, and benefits are distributed fairly. Others propose a licensing system that allows private operations under strict global oversight, with royalties or resource sharing mechanisms in place. These models are designed to avoid a lunar land grab and ensure that humanity's celestial heritage is preserved. Regardless of the path chosen, one thing is clear: the Moon is no longer a distant dream. It is becoming a battleground for competing interests, ideologies, and ambitions. And the decisions we make now will shape not just the future of the Moon, but the future of humanity in space. Who gets to draw the first boundary lines? Who enforces contracts and resolves disputes? What ethical codes will guide interactions among settlers, companies, and governments on the Moon? These questions are no longer hypothetical. As private landers prepare to touch down and mining concepts turn into prototypes, the clock is ticking. Failure to establish global standards could lead to chaos, conflict, and irreversible damage. But done right, this new chapter could become a model of peaceful, cooperative space development. A chance to rethink ownership, governance, and progress in ways that benefit everyone, not just the few who can afford to leave Earth. So, should we allow one billionaire to own part of the Moon? Or should we demand a higher standard, one that reflects our collective responsibility, shared destiny, and hope for a more equitable interplanetary future? The answer will define more than just lunar policy. It will define who we are as a species entering the cosmos.